road bike, road bike. Morning. Another road bike. The other boys we're waiting on will also be on road bikes, almost certainly. And here I am on my my Causeway Fustle gravel bike for a 30-mile road ride. I don't really like doing road rides in the winter because the weather's a bit grim, but I also hate being on Zwift and on the trainer. So I do like to get outside when I can, if it's a gravel ride, a mountain bike ride, or like a road ride if I can. But yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can keep up with these boys on their fancy carbon frames and deep section wheels while I'm on a big aluminium 42mm tyre bike. So let's go for a ride and see if I keep up. Okay, coffee stop. Stopped at Rover Coffee in Randallstown. It's a new coffee shop in Randallstown, so I'm looking forward to trying it out. Always a fan of a new coffee shop. You're maybe wondering why, when I have a perfectly good road bike, like if you follow me on Instagram, if you watch this channel, you know that I ride a Canyon Ultimate. So when I have a really nice good road bike, why would I use a gravel bike in the winter? Well, I mean, really, look at me. I'm absolutely covered in muck from the road. Like, it's a lovely day, it's cool, it's still, it's not raining, but the roads are just so full of grit and salt and muck that it just sprays up and you get covered, and the bikes as well. The bikes are a bit mucky, not as mucky as a mountain bike ride or a gravel ride, but they're still a bit mucky. So I tend to take my Canyon apart during the winter, like fully strip it down, clean it, put it away for the winter, and then I'll rebuild it up come springtime. So that's kind of the main reason why I want to have a separate bike as a winter road bike, and that's why I'm trying out my gravel bike as a winter road bike. Going okay so far. managing to keep up. But yeah, gonna stop, get some coffee and some food now, and then head home, and I'll talk to you about the pros and cons of using a gravel bike as a winter road bike. So how did I get on today riding my Fustle Causeway gravel bike as a winter road bike? Well, I managed to keep up with the guys, which is great, and you know, didn't find myself lagging too far behind or having to put in too much extra effort. So that was great. It performed really well as a road bike. As I said, the reason I want a winter road bike is because when I do go out on the roads in winter, around here, winter, quite often winter in Northern Ireland is not, you know, snow and kind of crisp, cold days. More often than not, winter is wet and rainy and grey and just a bit grim. And when it is like a nice kind of cool or mild, dry day with not much wind like today was, the roads are still covered in all kinds of muck. As you saw earlier, I was kind of really covered heads to a muck, so and just like grit and salt and dirt off the road. So yeah, wanting something that just isn't going to get completely wrecked when I do take it out on the road in winter. You know, my Canyon would be fine, it would do really well, but I like to keep it really pristine and really good. So that's why I wanted a winter road bike. So yeah, it rode pretty well today, and that was great. I guess, what are some of the downsides of using a gravel bike as a winter road bike? So downsides to start with, I mean, really there's only a couple and they're fairly obvious. One, it's a heavier bike, you know, so it's heavier than my Canyon Ultimate, obviously, but not substantially. So this bike currently, with the wheels and everything on, pedals and everything on, is coming in at about 10 kilos, whereas my Canyon comes in with everything on about 8 kilos. So you're only talking a couple extra kilos, so it's not the end of the world, it's not that much heavier, but it is obviously a little bit heavier. But the biggest downside, rather than the weight, is actually probably the fact that I am running gravel wheels and gravel tires on this. So I'm running Hunt 4-season extra wide gravel wheels, and I'm currently running 42mm tires, and they're kind of like knobbly tires as well. So obviously that is going to add a bit of rolling resistance to my ride. Those are probably the main downsides to it. Often for me, the kind of road riding in the winter though is not about, you know, smashing PBs, not about doing big hill climbs, not about, you know, trying to increase my average speed or anything like that. Road riding in the winter is just about being out, keeping the legs turning through the winter, going for a kind of an easier ride, you know, more gentle ride, a coffee ride. You see today we stopped at a coffee shop, had a coffee, bit of a social ride. So it's much more about the enjoyment and kind of just enjoying being out on your bike. So the downsides of having a heavier bike with bigger wheels, not that big a deal for me anyway, for a winter ride. Another potential downside actually is possibly gearing. I know a lot of gravel bikes have 1x gearing setup. I actually have a 2x setup on this bike, and I'll explain why in a minute. If you have a 1x setup, you might have an issue with gearing. And today, because I'm on a 2x setup, I didn't have an issue with gearing. And actually, the only issue I had with my gearing was on a couple of downhills, I was spinning out. That was really the only issue that I had. So I have a 2x 48 to 31 on the front and a 12 speed 11 to 36 on the back. So at a 48-11 I was spinning out. So that was the only real issue I had with gearing. Some of the good points of using a gravel bike as a winter road bike. Well, as I mentioned, with the roads being covered in grit and grime and all that kind of stuff, a gravel bike is just that little bit more rugged than, you know, maybe a road bike, like a delicate carbon road bike. This is an aluminium bike. I know you do get carbon gravel bikes as well, but yeah, just with the bike being a little bit more kind of rugged and designed for rougher terrain, it's going to handle, you know, the winter roads with no bother at all. It's not going to have any hassle. You know, quite often you've got potholes and rough surfaces more often in the winter, as well as all the grit and grime. So gravel bike's just that little bit more durable, and the components are maybe that little bit more rugged and hopefully durable as well. So that's one of the great points. I know that I said earlier the wider tires and the additional weight is a kind of a downside. It can be a positive as well, because it means you have to work that little bit harder. So it means you're keeping warm. So on those cooler days, you're having to work that little bit harder to kind of keep up with the group, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that keeps you warm on the cooler days, and also you are then getting a bit more of a workout. So the additional weight and the wider tires can actually be a positive if you want to look at it that way as well. Another good point is, if you want to, you can do a bit of a mixed surface ride. So you can do a road ride and throw in a little bit of off-road, a little bit of gravel as well if you want. So yeah, I was out with the guys today. They were all on road bikes, so throwing in a little gravel section wasn't going to happen. But yes, you could do a bit of a mixed surface ride, some road, some gravel. And actually in Northern Ireland that works really well, because while we do have some good sections of gravel, they're kind of a bit further apart and not really connected up. So that means you can do a ride kind of on some gravel and some road. So that's pretty good. And yeah, all round I think it's a really solid option for a winter road bike. Now there are a couple of improvements that you could make, and I probably will make, to make it even more suitable for a road ride. I guess the most obvious and easiest change you could make would be to throw a set of road tyres on. So get yourself a set of road tyres and replace your knobbly wide tyres with you know, like a set of 25 or 28 mil tyres. Downside of that is then swapping your tyres every time you want to do a road ride versus a gravel ride. Probably a better option, if you can stretch to it than swapping tyres, is get a spare set of wheels. So I've got a spare set of wheels. I've got another 11 to 36 12 speed cassette set up on those wheels, another set of disc rotors set up on those wheels, which means when I get them set up with the tyres, I can just swap the wheels out. So if I'm doing a gravel ride, I put these wheels on. If I'm going to do a road ride on the bike, I just swap out and put my road wheels on. So yeah, that's a pretty handy thing to do. That's one of the reasons I got this bike with 2x12 setup, because the 12 speed 11 to 36 cassette in this arrangement is just the normal Shimano Hyperglide setup, whereas the 1 speed was using a microspline mountain bike setup, so wouldn't have been able to as easily swap the wheels in and out. So yeah, swapping your tyres to road tyres, or get a spare set of wheels so you can swap them in and out, would be a significant improvement to using it as a winter road bike. Other thing you can do is stick a set of road pedals on. Now, I've already done that. Normally I ride this bike with a set of mountain bike pedals on, Shimano SPDs, but today I've got my Asioma power meter pedals on, or I could stick my Look KO pedals on. So yeah, sticking a set of road pedals on means you can use your road shoes rather than mountain bike shoes when you're doing a road ride. The other thing you could do, just to make it that little bit more winterproof, would be to stick a set of mud guards on, for a couple of reasons. One, again, just protecting the bike a bit from all the muck and stuff being kicked up from the road, but also if you're out in a group, as you saw from earlier footage, there was lots of spray coming off the road. You probably saw it on my camera, and yeah, we were covered kind of head to toe, and that wasn't because it was raining or anything, that was just spray off other people's wheels. So sticking a set of mud guards on if you're going to be riding in a group as well in the winter on the road is maybe just a kind of common courtesy to your other riders in your group. So apologies to the guys this morning that I didn't have mud guards on. I will do better next time, all being well. But yeah, that's it. I mean, can you use a gravel bike as a winter road bike? 100%, absolutely. Without any changes, you can use a gravel bike as a winter road bike, and with just a few small tweaks or modifications, it could actually be a really, really capable winter road bike. And never mind winter road bike, actually, to be fair, if you have a gravel bike and want to consider road riding, rather than buying a road bike, you could just adapt your gravel bike and use that as your road bike. They are really, really good all-round options. They can handle gravel, obviously, they can handle gentle mountain bike trails. I'll probably do another video about that, but yeah, you can take them on gentle mountain bike trails that are not too technical, and they do well on the road. So the gravel bike option is actually a really good all-round single bike option, good for bike packing as well, obviously. So yeah, gravel bikes as a winter road bike, thumbs up for me, 100%, absolutely doable. That's it for me for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have made it this far in my ramblings, I really, really appreciate it. Please do leave me a comment down below. Let me know, are you riding kind of a gravel bike as a winter road bike, or what do you do through the winter? Don't forget to like the video, and please subscribe as well. It really helps my channel grow, and share it with any of your friends who maybe are into cycling and that sort of thing as well. But yeah, as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.